My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them. Yopo.
Yes.
Yes. You're not okay. But I'll take time and watch today's
No, just a second. Kwesi is on. Please hang on.
You are not a small man. You have risen to become Minister of Information. You've had many important positions in this country. You are one of the key persons in the Akomea campaign team. Don't sit at home and make people call you and tell you fairy tales for you to be calling into programs. It's not good, Nana.
Moro.
Yes, sir.
I have said to you that I will take my time and watch the program myself.
Okay.
Today, so don't worry.
Thank you.
And that next week,
Wednesday,
I'll call myself on Wednesdays to
That's fine.
To take part in your conversation.
That's fine.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
It will be a pleasure
So he's just made the announcement. Nana Akomea is back. So Wednesdays he'll be with us here. Thank you for announcing that return on Good Morning Ghana. Thank you very much. Anyway.
So again, Nana Akomea, who is now the boss of communication, the Tsar of communication, actually got a text message or some message on his phone and began to read it. Oh my God.
What did he say?
The explanation for his being BT was that there's a particularly beautiful lady around that place. And he's been warned several times to stay away from the lady and he can't help himself. So these marksmen were actually enforcers to ensure that he stayed away from the woman.
So this has nothing to do with the party.
Yeah, but you see,
somebody's private interest.
Maybe, you know. But what shocked me was that party leaders were ready to go public with this explanation, you know, in order to exonerate the party.
This is the first time hearing of it. This is the first time.
Oh, yesterday it was very interesting.
But Kwesi, is it a bad thing?
Yeah?
Is it a bad thing to save your party? Even if you have to tell stories like that?
It's a very good story. Very good story to tell. Your vice chairman is going to settle a dispute in the party. And he can't help himself because there's a particularly beautiful woman in the area and so on, and leads to some serious beating by marksmen.
Yes.
And so on. It's all not healthy.
But
the aesthetics are not good.
I know, but it's better than saying that the party is a violent party because of election-related issues.
So you throw him under the bus. He's a womanizer.
Why do I get
He's chasing other people's...
Why do I get a feeling you don't believe the story?
Oh, it's not a question of whether I believe it or not, but I'm just saying that the aesthetics both ways
doesn't look good.
Are not good.
Okay.
You know, the aesthetics are not good at all.
All right. So, to be honest, in that kind of environment, obviously, I don't know that my observations are right.
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances. It depends on what you're looking at and so on. For the individual, I think it's always better to be honest and candid because it saves you the trouble of having to lie over and over and over again.
Right.
You understand? If you lie once, you have to keep lying again and keep lying and so on. So it's more relaxing, it's more pleasure and so on, just to speak your mind. But there are consequences for speaking your mind. Because not all of us have the same interest. Not all of us even agree on the facts. I mean, right now, over the last couple of months, there's been a huge debate among scientists and astrologers as to whether or not Pluto is a planet. So even in the simple question of whether Pluto is a planet or not, there are several competing facts, there are several competing analyses, and so on. You understand? And for some people, their very life and existence depends on particular narratives. So if you attack particular narratives, or if you dent holes in particular narratives, you've crossed the red line. They see it as an attack on their being and whatever they have aspired for and so on. And they come back fighting, you know. So look, it's a tricky world. We live in a very, very tricky world, you know. If you come to the area of religion, for example, I mean, all religion is undoubtedly superstition. We are talking about competing superstitions. And when it comes to superstition, facts are not important. Empirical evidence is useless. So when you're dealing with superstitious people, where is the truth and where is the lie? Because superstitious people don't operate within the regime of truth and lies. They operate mainly
faith and belief. That's
on
it.
the platform of belief. So when you're dealing with superstitious people, how do you deal with them? Are you going to insist on facts? It doesn't matter to them. Are you going to insist on empirical analysis? It doesn't matter to them, and so on. So the most important thing to recognize is that we live in a very complex world. This world is a very, very complex world. And in this complex world, the ability to survive is accentuated by a thorough understanding of the society and the dynamics that keeps it going. To be safe, to be safe in this world, you have to be, and I know that some people will disagree, but you have to be a Marxist to understand reality in its fullness. Okay, and for me, the most important thing in understanding this world is the law of dialectics, which sees the interconnectedness of all things. So once you begin to understand the interconnectedness of all things and so on, nothing is strange. Nothing is inexplicable and so on. So that's the advantage of being a Marxist, because the science of dialectics then aids your complete understanding of the world. You cannot be a Marxist without understanding the world in its complexity and in its fullness and so on. So you've asked a very difficult question. There's no straightforward answer. It just leads us to a very complicated world.
But Kwesi, in all our spheres of endeavor, in all that we do in our lives, we ought to take feedback. Because without feedback, we all agree you can't do better. Because it's almost like you're walking in the dark alley or in the shadow. But for some reason, feedback is very difficult to take, you know, and especially for our politicians who are in the business of constantly interacting with people and so on. And you'd expect that when a colleague says, hey, watch it, rather than listening to what the person is saying, we're more interested in who is saying it in order to place premium of value or importance on what the person is saying. I mean, how can you be a successful politician or even a human being without listening to what people are saying? Of course, that's not to say take everything people are saying, but you've got to be able to decipher.
You see, Moro,
I don't get it, but people don't want to hear the truth.
No, Moro, you again.
Obviously, on several occasions, you've been on this platform where you have called people out, whether NDC, NPP, and you're saying, watch it, it's bad, it's blah, blah, blah. And people call me and say, why do you guys put this man on? You know, he's making us unpopular and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but that's your problem. But people don't want to hear feedback.
Moro, there's again a very big problem. I mean, the assumption is that feedback is good. So, how do you determine
a good and bad feedback?
Exactly, or whether even the feedback you're getting is sincere? I mean, 2 weeks ago, I put out something on my Twitter page.
Yes.
What is it? I'm driving through the streets of Accra. Somebody, a street vendor, stops me and says, I haven't eaten the whole day, you know. So can you give me 10 cedis to buy some cocoa and so on? So I had 10 cedis, I gave it to the street vendor. Then he immediately launches into serious attacks on the NPP. How the NPP is responsible for all the problems we've had and so on. And I said to him that, look, I am not an NDC person. Instantly, he flips. And all the attacks on John Mahama, how he has brought back Doomsaw and so on. So, what is the mechanism for determining whether the feedback you are getting is genuine, truly reflects the views and evaluation of the people who are giving the feedback?
Very important question.
How do you treat feedback? It's a huge problem, you understand? Now, I've been around in this national political thing for some time, you understand? And I'll give you one example. There was one election, I think that must have been in the 1992 election, where a candidate lost the election. It was declared at the polling station that he had lost the elections. And he saw his polling agents take off his party T-shirt. And beneath his party T-shirt was the opponent's party T-shirt. And his polling agents started jubilating. They were jubilating because he had lost, and they were his polling agents. And they had 2 T-shirts on. Yes, sir. So basically, and he should know, he's been around for some time, he should know, party allegiance. The same person wearing an NDC T-shirt in the morning, in the evening is wearing an NPP T-shirt. So it's difficult for you to determine whether he's truly NDC or NPP. He knows that if the aspiring parliamentary candidate comes around, he will get a little cash. So when the aspiring NDC candidate comes, he wears the NDC T-shirt to collect some cash. When the aspiring NPP politician comes around, he wears the NPP T-shirt to get some cash. So increasingly, it's becoming difficult, to evaluate feedback. Increasingly, you understand? I mean, look, you go to social media today, it's awash with campaigns for presidential hopefuls and so on. Do you believe what you see on social media? Many of them are doing it because he knows that this guy, if I praise him and say that he will be the best presidential candidate for 2028, at least my breakfast will be catered for. Huh?
That's true.
When he's given a chance to vote, he would not probably vote for the person he's making noises for and so on. This is the country we have built.
That's true.
This is the politics we have developed. So it's very difficult to tell. And I've been in a situation where there's a chap in the NPP that I'm very close with. And I have many friends in the NPP, very close. And I heard this chap actually on radio, full of praise for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and how he will be the best president of Ghana and so on. And I know the person. So I was wondering. In the afternoon, the person stops by the office. I said, well, I heard you this one. Say, oh, Jai, what's up? Like, you can't be quiet. You understand? So this is the country we have built. I mean, today, it will take enormous courage, huge courage, for anybody in the National Democratic Congress, minister, deputy minister, member of parliament, whatever, to publicly disagree with President John Dramani Mahama. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. It's inconceivable.
Inconceivable. And that is why when in the Akufo-Addo regime, a number of parliamentarians took a firm stand against the appointment of the finance minister and so on, it became a big issue because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Everybody just toes the line. Line of least resistance, line of rewards, and so on. That's what many people are engaging. So if you happen to be a little different and you speak your mind, you stand out, people think you're doing something extraordinary. It is not, it shouldn't be extraordinary.
In most cases,
speaking your mind shouldn't be extraordinary at all. It should be common.
In most cases, the people who are speaking their minds have actually turned out to be vindicated.
Yeah, but who cares about
When somebody must
vindication?
lift a big stone,
Master,
and give it to them.
But who cares about being vindicated? The concern is not about being vindicated. The concern is not about making history or standing on the right side of history.
You've betrayed the party, that's all.
No, the concern is being able to live a life of comfort. That's the concern. So whether we are vindicated or not, for as long as we are living a life of comfort, we have achieved the objective. So vindication doesn't really matter. You know, and I don't like claiming vindication. Because you see, the claim of vindication usually comes after the destruction has taken place.
That's true.
You see something, it's very dangerous, you speak about it, everybody comes at you, and then 2, 3, 4 years later, you are vindicated. But the harm has already been done. So claiming vindication is...
You can't help it. You can't help it. Look, you don't have to claim the vindication.
Yeah.
Somebody can't claim the vindication for on your behalf.
And then what? The harm has been done. The destruction has been done.
Yes, but they didn't listen to you, Uncle Kwesi.
But you think that when we are vindicated, anybody is going to listen in the future?
Anyway, well, that's true.
It don't matter.
That's true.
The whole point is, look, how am I going to pay my children's school fees? My salary is not enough to pay the school fees of 4 children.
How do I make more money?
Tomorrow, I'll give you a small test. This morning, after we leave the studio, just walk with us downstairs and see something for yourself. Normally, there'll be about 20 to 30 people standing there, waiting for panelists on this show.
Yes.
And as soon as you get there, they start heaping accolades on you. The best politician Ghana has ever seen, future president, and so on. You know that. Those who gather at the radio stations and television stations to do this, what are they looking for?
That's true.
Just looking for enough money to go and buy his breakfast. But unfortunately, some of our leaders take these things seriously. They come to Metro TV, they sit on this platform, they get down there, there are 20 people shouting their praises and so on, so that they can get 200 CDs in the morning. And they take it so serious, they go and declare their intentions to become president. They are idiots.
Mr. Kwesi Pratt for president.
Hey, my friend, I beg you, my friend. I have no interest.
To you, I think you've nailed it for me. But let's do this. Let's do this in a few minutes before we move on to some more substantive issues for the day. So I was asking about your general secretary aspirations. How is it going? Like we say it in Pidgin, how are the grounds now?
Well, the party is going through its own internal elections. As we are well aware, every elected officer's tenure comes to an end this year. So we started with the polling station elections, from there to the electoral area coordinators, then to constituency, region, and national. So, we are all waiting for the delegates list, because others will contest, others won't contest. Some have passed away, some have moved on. So we have to wait till maybe middle of July, thereabout, when all the elections would have been conducted because they form a substantial chunk of the delegates, the constituency executives. That'll be 19 executives times 276. So we're waiting for that to be in place before we can then, start canvassing the country. So that is where we are now. But before that, I've met with all the constituency chairs, some regional executives, the constituency secretaries, assistant secretaries, women organize their deputies. That's where we started. And then the top-down approach came in, and then we had to stop for the flagbearers the aspirants, for them to go around. So we are just waiting, hopefully, by middle of July, hit the road again.
I've also seen some pictures where you were in a hearty chat or interactions with the former president, Kufuor, and the former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and even the current flag bearer of the NPP New Patriotic Party. I guess that's it. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia. How did all those meetings or engagements go?
It's all part of the consultation and consultation process. I had to meet Presidents Kufuor and Akufo-Addo to inform them of my intentions. and also had they also had their words of advice for me. And lately, the vice president, former vice president, he had to travel out of the country immediately after the primaries. I think he was away for about a month or 5 weeks. So I had to wait for him to come, and officially saw him, I think, on the 22nd of April. Yes, to also formally inform him. So I'm waiting to also inform Parliament when they resume. And then I'll then start, visiting other. I've also been visiting other party people, but that's not as prominent as these three gentlemen. So that is where we are. Yep.
Would you say the engagements were fruitful?
No, very fruitful. Very fruitful. Very fruitful.
All right. Finally,
Eugene knows better than me when it comes to this competitive politics and so on. So far, all the reports indicate that he's doing very well on the ground. I'm sure you've had those reports and so on. But Eugene, my friend, don't forget that in the final analysis, what is going to be the determinant will be the size of your pocket. Don't overlook that. That is what our politics have become. Look, in some of the elections, of course, you are aware of the studies, empirical studies which have been done, which suggest that to be president in Ghana, you need about $100 million. $100 million.
So, are you combining the primaries and the general election, or just?
No, I'm just saying that that's how expensive our politics have become.
Oh yeah. From primaries to general election, yes, even more.
Yeah.
Internal elections, the estimates are staggering.
Yeah.
Yes. But 35 to 40 million.
They are dizzying. Internal elections. In some parties, the Flagbearer election, which is an internal election, can cost you as much as $20 million.
Absolutely.
You understand? So it's not a simple tax you have taken upon your shoulders. You obviously, and I've known you over the years, want to serve your country and so on. But the people with the power to give you the opportunity to serve your party and country, it's not all of them who are driven by the same motives.
Of course.
You understand? So I pity you. And that's all I can say for that. I really pity you.
It's part of the process. Thank you very much for your concern. But
can you raise $20 million?
No, he doesn't have to raise that much. But
because the Flagbearers, the presidential candidates were meeting polling station executives, the coordinators.
Sorry.
How is it just restricted?
That's yes.
To the constituency executives.
Yes.
The regional
so in your
executives.
case, do you have that's fine. It's for Flagbearer, I should say that's true. But in your case, are you very clear in your mind how much you're supposed to raise?
No, please. It's not
for public consumption. It's not for public consumption.
For him to come and sit here and say, I want to raise so much and so on. Well, I mean, even the internal revenue is going to go up. If he speaks honestly about how much he has to raise, GRA should go after.
No. You was not going to get it out of me. You was not going to get it out of me.
Because yes, you're right.
The delegates, the number of delegates for the Flagbearers election was, I think, 210,000.
Okay.
Delegates.
Okay.
I was just about 5,000 to 6,000.
Okay.
So it was a fraction.
Yes. It's manageable. So standing committee
just
sector.
Imagine.
They're giving each.
Just imagine that on election day, we have about 250,000 people, eligible voters on election day. And as you and I know, some candidates pay up to 500 cedis per delegate. Some pay more. So 500 cedis multiplied by 250,000.
That's 10 million straight.
That's just on the day of the elections. It doesn't include the logistics like petrol, fueling of vehicles and so on, food, security mobilization, food and so on. It doesn't include it. Just how much we are putting into the pockets of delegates That's how much. So 500 CDs times 250 delegates, 250,000
That's more than
delegates.
10 million.
That's on one day's expenditure.
Crazy. Crazy. Well, so your standing and the sector committees, they've been formed. We've seen all kinds of. For me, I think it gives me a sense of the party's ministries that intends, because I've seen some interesting additions and some interesting subtractions. So you look at finance committee, you look at electoral affairs, you look at disciplinary, you look at policy committee. I can go on and on and on and on. I mean, some people think some people have no business being here, and there's all kinds of misgivings which have been expressed by some party folks. Some of them have actually called me personally to say, well, they don't understand why this person is there. This person doesn't even mean well for the party, and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't know what you've also been picking on the grounds. Is everything okay with this committee that's been formed?
Yeah, I think when it comes to, well, once a decision has been made by NEC and National Council, it's binding. So we must all respect the decision of council. But I think from Friday all the way through the weekend, there were various concerns being raised by our members. And these are some prominent members of our party on social media, also raising concerns. Well, we felt that the list is not exhaustive. There's going to be a more comprehensive list by the 25th of May.
So then it begs the question, if the list is not comprehensive, why did the party put it out?
Yeah, one school of thought
Did you get the point I'm making?
You are right. One school of thought was saying, if not comprehensive, why put it out? One school of thought is saying that, so are we going to call National Council and NEC again to come and approve the additions? Yeah. But, like I said, it's a decision of National Council. So we are not here to reduce it to, you said, this one said that. Okay. Let's wait and see what will transpire on the 25th of May. That's the date that's been put out at the official inauguration of these committees. Okay. So it's all about, the reorganization of the party. And some have also raised the issue of timing. That we are in the middle of internal elections. Why couldn't it wait? And why have we waited all this while to do it now? Now, these are all concerns expressed on social media. But like I said, once the National Council, takes a decision, well, that's the second highest decision-making body outside of Congress or conference. So once that decision is taken, we must all abide by it, respect it. You may have our views, like a Supreme Court ruling or judgment. You all have our views. We talk about, but the decision has been made. Let's move with it. You understand? Yeah. So that's all I can say on the matter. But in terms of the spokespersons, these are listed in the party's constitution. As a member of parliament, yes, I was a spokesperson for employment committee. So these are automatic positions. Once we become, now they are ranking members. Some two are still chair. But once you become a chairman or a ranking member, there are about 20 spokespersons that are admitted into NEC meetings, possibly National Council meetings, by virtue of the fact that they hold the chairmanship of a committee or the ranking member of a committee in parliament. So that is also that. So let's wait. I mean, I don't think we should run haywire. Let's wait till the 25th of May.
So the full list is out. Full list,
but we must all be guided by unity. Everything we do must try and bring everybody on board. Make sure that we are all moving in the same direction. Yes.
Okay.
You see, excuse me. The newspapers were very interesting yesterday.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. In fact, the newspaper that I found most interesting yesterday was the Hawk newspaper, and I'll explain why. You see, most of the newspapers put out the story that these committees have been formed by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Flagbearer. You agree? Most of the newspapers said these are committees which have been formed by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Actually, he was congratulated for bringing those who contested him for the Flagbearer position into mainstream party as chairpersons of the committees. So the question which arose was that, does he really have the mandate to form these committees? And the response that came out, especially from Nana Akomea, who is now chair of the communications committee and so on, was that, oh, he only nominated, and that eventually, because National Council approved, it became the decision of National Council. And that even in the process of forming the committees, there were about 20 people who were involved in the consultations and shaping things and so on. That was Nana Akomea's explanation. But be that as it may, it brought back memories of the debate before the Flagbearer elections. You remember this top-down approach and its consequences and so on. That is what is happening. In a few months, we are going to elect a national executive, including national chairman, who now is supposed to be head of the party. You are forming committees now. Are the newly elected executives going to be confronted with a fait accompli? The committees have been, so what are they going to do?
That's an interesting question.
Exactly. Are they going to be confronted with a fait accompli? And if they are going to be confronted with a fait accompli, what is their value? What are they going to do when all the appointments would have been made even before they assume office? Now, this brings back the issue of the top-down approach and the various positions we are taking. I remember my good friend, Boachie Jaku, arguing seriously that the elections needed to start from the polling stations all the way up, and that possibly the Flagbearer election should be the last. Because if that was not done, the likelihood was that whoever is elected as Flagbearer would dominate these processes, and the party's identity will be subsumed, under the cloud of the Flagbearer and so on. I want to suggest very strongly that that is what is happening now. And yesterday, on the front page of the Hawk, was an article, some news article, which simply said that those who are going to contest, those who are contesting elections from the polling stations upwards, they are getting visits from persons who claim, and I'm using my word advisedly, who claim to be agents of the presidential candidate, warning them to stay up because the presidential candidate does not like them or says he cannot work with them, and so on. There's no evidence to suggest that that is what is the presidential candidate is actually the one who is doing this. Because it may well be that people are using his name even without his knowledge, but this is happening. You understand? There was one gentleman who is contesting for communications, head of communications, who is cited as having been approached and told to step down because the presidential candidate does not like him. Yesterday, Nana Akomea spoke on that matter, and Nana Akomea said that, look, he advised the guy to step down, not because Dr. Baumia doesn't like him, but because, in his view, Miracles would be a better head of communications than him, and so on. So all of these are happening in the party. But something interesting was also published in the Hawk of yesterday, that there was some mediation efforts in one of the constituencies in Accra. And that one of the national vice chairpersons actually led that mediation effort. And that when he left the meeting, 7 masked men caught him and gave him the beating of his life.
What, in NPP?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yesterday. So my immediate reaction was to associate that with the elections, But then quickly I was told that, there was another reason for his being beaten, which had nothing to do with the election process. So again, Nana Akomea, who is now the boss of communication, the Tsar of...
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases. PENDREAM TV.
Yesterday, on the front page of the Hawk, was an article, some news article, which simply said that those who are going to contest, those who are contesting elections from the polling stations upwards, they are getting visits from persons who claim, and I'm using my word advisedly, who claim to be agents of the presidential candidate, warning them to stay up because the presidential candidate does not like them or says he cannot work with them, and so on. There's no evidence to suggest that that is what is the presidential candidate is actually the one who is doing this. Because it may well be that people are using his name, even without his knowledge, but this is happening. You understand? There was one gentleman who is contesting for communications, head of communications, who is cited as having been approached and told to step down because the presidential candidate does not like him. Yesterday, Nana Akomea spoke on that matter, and Nana Akomea said that, look, he advised the guy to step down, not because Dr. Baumia doesn't like him, but because, in his view, Miracles would be a better head of communications than him, and so on. So all of these are happening in the party. But something interesting was also published in the Hawk of yesterday, that there was some mediation efforts in one of the constituencies in Accra. And that one of the national vice chairpersons actually led that mediation effort. And that when he left the meeting, 7 masked men caught him and gave him the beating of his life.
What, in NPP?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yesterday. So my immediate reaction was to associate that with the elections, But then quickly I was told that, there was another reason for his being beaten, which had nothing to do with the election process. Yeah, the real danger now, given all the stories that we are being told and reading from the newspapers and so on, the danger is that eventually you might end up with a political party structure which is alien to the NPP. The NPP has always prided itself as guaranteeing internal democracy. And flag bearers, not until recently, had to listen to others, The party moved on the basis of consensus and so on. When you get to the position where whatever the flag bearer says becomes law, then the party is in danger. Then the party is in serious danger. And I want to believe that not all the stories we are hearing are true.
Yes. Well,
people in the party have a responsibility to themselves to ensure that democratic practice is entrenched at the very core of the party. You understand?
Gentlemen, I'm told that the Akomea, who is the chairman of the communications committee of your party, and also former MP for Kwesi South, I believe, is on the line. Apparently, he has some reaction to give on something that one of our guests said today. So I want to be clear who said what, so that...
That's fine.
Nana Akomea, good morning. Thank you very much for joining the show.
Good morning, Moro.
Long time, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good to hear from you. Now, we understand you have some reactions to give. What exactly are you reacting to, and who said what?
Well, thank you, Moro. I'm sorry I hadn't been following your discussions, but so forgive me if my understanding is wrong. But my understanding is that Kwesi Pratt is saying that there was something about an assault on an NPP executive member, and I had then brought a message that the member was assaulted because of some woman. Is that a correct thing that he said?
Oh, it was about the story that broke a few days ago, and it had to do with the second vice chair of your party, one Alhaji Haruna. And
I know. I was on the discussion with Kwesi. I'm saying, did he say that I had concocted some message?
I don't recall him saying that. I don't recall him saying that. Yes.
Which said that he was beaten because he had been warned to stay off a certain woman, and he was not staying off the woman.
Yes.
That's why he was.
So it was a message you read.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, it's not even a message. It's a news item. Kwesi read a news item from some newspaper. And I also saw a news item on the same matter, and I also read it. What is the problem with that?
There's no problem.
Yes, so that's it.
What is the problem? There's no problem. You read.
I understand you said there's a problem with that.
No.
You read from your phone, news item, message, or whatever, which indicated that he was not beaten because of a party disagreement.
Yes.
And that he was beaten because he had been warned of a certain woman and he had not heeded that warning.
Yes.
That's all. That's what happened.
So you read it. It wasn't your explanation, but it was something you read on an online.
So what is the problem with
portal.
that?
I understand you, Kwesi. You say there's a problem with that.
No. He didn't say that.
Nana Akomea. What I'm saying is that the allegation initially was that he was beaten because of a party dispute.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To read a press statement, news, whatever, which indicates that he was not beaten because of a party problem, but because of a woman, raises another problem. It's not your problem. How is that your problem?
No, I understand you are saying that there's something wrong with the news item that I read.
No, he said
How is being beaten because we are humanizing and edifying and glorifying thing?
But Akomea, I'm here, so if he said that, I would have defended you. So, you know, please.
And in any case, why would I attack Nana Akomea for what purpose?
Yeah, so whoever called you, please. I'm here, so if he said that, I would have defended you. Because I know you will speak like that.
Okay, like I said, I wasn't watching the program.
You
I'm understanding. So
you were told.
Correct. But Moro, I've also been told that Kwesi said,
sorry,
I had said somebody should not stand for election and it was not appropriate. Did Kwesi say that?
Yes, he did.
Now, let me tell you what I said.
Okay.
Nana Akomea. What I said was that there was a gentleman who was mentioned in the article in the Hawk as aspiring for the position of head of the communication, whatever, structure, and so on. And that you said that the person had approached you for your support, and you had advised him that Miracle Sabuachi would be the best person for the position, and therefore you wouldn't advise him to contest. Did you say that or you didn't say that?
I said so.
So what's the problem?
I said so in response to the insinuation that people were being asked not to contest because Bawumia didn't want them to contest. And I sought to cure that mischief because this gentleman that we are talking about is a very key supporter of Bawumia. So there is no way somebody will go and tell him that Bawumia doesn't want him to contest. And I gave you an example that the gentleman that you mentioned, he came to me
what you said. What is
to consult me, and I told him that I felt that he should let Miracles go, not because Bawumia has said anything. That was my opinion that I gave, and I'm sure you go around other people. They also give him their opinions.
But I didn't say that you stopped him because Bawumia told you to go and stop him. All I'm saying is that you told him that Miracles would be better for that position than him, and therefore you should stay away. What's the problem? Don't let people be calling you to come and make such, unnecessary statements on this platform.
But anyway,
the people who are calling you.
Moro.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. No worries. I'll take my time and watch your playback. Okay.
Please do.
Oh,
and we're waiting for you.
All right, Moro.
We're waiting for you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I'll take my time. But there's a playback, so I'll take my time and watch.
Yes, but I also say we're waiting for you, sir.
Moro.
The audience.
I'll come on Wednesday so I can meet Kwesi.
We're tired of explaining to our audience why you're not here because you people are the pioneers and the pace setters as far as the show is concerned. Yes, sir.
I'll make time and come on Wednesday so I can meet my friend Kwesi.
Oh, okay. So you can come with Uncle Kwesi. Yes.